Conversations with Christ. I'm Cassandra.
And I am Cortez. We are back for yet again another episode.
Yes.
Doing better and better each time.
Trying to, at
Ye-
least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to get into what we have for you today. We just pray that Holy Spirit guide the way that He did last episode. Last episode was so good.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and we're just excited to dive in. So,
I guess before we even dive in, if you're not following our personal social medias, because I don't think we posted it on the Conversations with Christ page, but this is now Minister
oh, I was like,
Cassandra
what are you
Davis.
talking
So I
about?
wanted to give honor that Cassie had been in school the past 2 years, and this year a couple weeks ago actually, or last week, she was ordained as a minister. So she is now
Yeah.
able to serve in a minister capacity for a plethora of different things, from baby dedications to weddings and
Baptisms. I feel
baptisms.
like
So
baptisms, like, I'm excited to be able to be a part of something like that because that is a beautiful experience and thing. So yeah,
yeah, so
but couldn't do
round of
it
applause for
without.
you.
Thank you. Couldn't do it without you and your support. And definitely couldn't do it without God and our pastors. I will forever call Pastor Judy and Pastor Joey our pastors. Like, um, there are people, they're literally spiritual parents to me. Like, have allowed and opened a space to allow God to work in. And so they truly have introduced, I think, both of us to a
Yeah.
lot of just our gifts and
Mm-hmm.
introduced us on how to like use our gifts and how to appreciate our gifts and how to give glory to God in the gifts. And they just, if you anyone is ever interested in doing School of Purpose, feel free to reach out to us because we can definitely give you the information for it. They do have an Instagram page that you can follow, and I'll tag it below in the like description so that y'all have that. But it's truly a life changing experience for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So, do you think that you'll be doing SOP too in the near future?
I feel like everybody keeps asking me that question. I'm gonna pray on it. I
Good response.
definitely think at one point or another, I do see that being in my future. I don't know if it's right now or if it's further down the line, but I do know I will go back eventually and do
Yeah.
it.
A lot of people were asking him when they saw Cortez is like an amazing, like he's just such an easy person to talk to and to like interact with, and he's a very much like a social butterfly. So like when we walked in, everybody was like, Cortez, like where have you been? So it was so nice to see everybody get excited to see him. And yeah, everybody was asking about him and asking about his if he was gonna do SOP too
Yeah, that was
next
like the number one
week.
question that everybody
Yeah.
I talked to asks. So,
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and get started. I feel as of a few weeks ago, God was leading us to talk about just trusting in God and what that looks like and how that looks like in the world that we live in and kind of just sharing our experiences in
I'll let you kick it off. I feel like God has put this on your heart for a while,
it.
so I'll let you kick it off.
So I guess just he something that God had revealed to me was that not all like not all things that are going on in the world, like when it comes to being a Christian and a true follower of Christ, things that are going on in the world, no matter how crazy the world gets, it doesn't always apply to the follower of Christ. And an example, I have several examples, but one being like that comes to mind right now is there can be a time where God will ask you to to a job. And I know, like, right now, it's the most terrible time to find a job, economy wise, job market wise. However, when you're following God's footsteps and when you're following Christ, the job market has nothing to do with you. And I say that because if God is asking you, and I don't know if God is actually asking somebody, and this is why he's put it on my heart, but if God is asking you to quit your job, it's for a reason. He already has the plan for you. I think we forget that God is out of time. He is not in the same time realm that we are in. God is in all time frames. He's in the past, present, and future. And we forget that God has already won the victory. And I think sometimes we forget that if he's asking you to do something, if he's asking you to, or if you're going through something like a hard time, I think we forget that the victory it's already won. Like the thing has already, there's already victory in the thing. And we forget that like God has already worked it out, and that God has already been in the season of the challenge, and he's already it's already done. So if he's asking you to quit your job or to change jobs and you're nervous about it, know that he's telling you for a reason. Know that it's for your benefit, for your good, and that it is to bring you up. And although that it is a challenge, it's so important to trust God and to have faith. And if it's something that is hard to let go of, ask God to increase your faith. And just as a, like, for things that we've experienced, one of the things was like my car. When I first became a follower of Christ, like it was right at the beginning, he told me to get a new car, and I didn't want to listen. It was just after COVID. It was in 2021, and it was the worst time to purchase a car, especially a used car. There was a huge used car shortage. I couldn't afford a brand new car and a car note, so I knew it had to be a used car. And I kind of just kept putting it off. Like God kept telling me like, it's time for a new car. It's time for a new car. But I was too nervous because I kept looking at my finances, and I'm like, there's no way I can afford a car note right now. And one day I was trying to go to work and my car just stopped working. Like it just wouldn't like work. It wouldn't turn on. It was just stuck. And instead of freaking out, I actually laughed. Like I started laughing to myself because I knew, like, I just felt a peace about it, and I knew it was God. And I'm like, yeah, he's been telling me like I have to get a new car for like a long time now, and I've been putting it off, and I haven't been listening to him. I haven't been trusting in him. And so I was like, okay, God, like I hear you. Got rid of the car, and then I started looking for a new car. And in that process, it was frustrating trying to find, because there, like I said, there was a car shortage. It was a little frustrating at the beginning, but God, like through prayer and through obedience, God led us to my car. And I can sit here and say, like, years later, I have had no issues with that car. That car, like, God truly blessed me, has gotten us, we've like done traveling. Like that car has been from Arizona to Chicago. That car has been from Arizona to Texas. That car has
Twice.
been, yes, twice. That car has like gotten us like everywhere we needed to go, and has lasted us and has been just in the pristine condition, with no problems. Praise God. And it's all because of God. And like he just, even like finance wise, like I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna afford this, but he makes a way every month to make the car payment. So I'm just here to say, like, not all circumstances that are going on in the world are like, you don't always have to like worry, and you don't always have to be anxious about, you'll never, actually, I'm not going to say always, you never have to be anxious about what's going on in the world, because if you truly put your trust into God and to carry you, and you truly surrender the anxiety and surrender the worry
Yeah.
of tomorrow, you have no like reason to, and he will take over and he will provide, and at time and time again.
Yeah, I think where you ended is exactly where I was going to start and put an asterisk in it. Is that in order to have that no anxiety, in order for things to work out, the asterisk would be you have to surrender it to God's way. And even with the story about your car, I remember it like it was yesterday. I think that the reason we were having so much trouble in the beginning is because you were trying to look for the car that you wanted. You were
That's
looking
a good point.
for the Jeep. You were looking
Yeah.
at all of the cars that you had put in your mind, like, "Oh, I really want this Jeep. I really want to do
Yeah,
it
I
this
had
way.
a
I
grasp on
have
my own
a
way.
specific car that I want." And literally, the moment that you said, "You know what, God, whatever you want from me," we stumbled across the Subaru dealership out in Tucson,
Tucson, yeah, which was two
which was
hours
2 hours
away
away,
from
and
where
we were
we
just like,
lived.
you were ready to give up. You were like,
Yeah,
fine,
I
let's just
was
go look at it.
crying. I
Let's just
was
go
like
look at it.
ready to give
And it
up.
was the perfect, it was everything that you wanted, everything you felt you
Yeah.
needed. You fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It's same thing what happened with this house. We were
Yeah.
looking for all of the houses and the specific things that we wanted, the specific brick that we thought that we wanted. And when we were like, God, we'll choose the house that you want. We ended up liking this house more than the one that we
Yeah.
originally wanted is down the street. We see it almost every week
Yeah.
walking our dog or walking with our daughter, and we're like, man, we are so glad we didn't go with this original one.
Yeah.
We like the one that you picked for us
Yeah,
more.
and that's like it's so funny. And actually, I tried to see if the builder would
Change it,
customize it
yeah.
for us. And I was like, well, can we do like a white, almost like a white brick with black accents?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, no, because we already ordered the brick for
Mm-hmm.
this particular house, so we can't do that. And somebody down the street actually has the customization that I wanted. And I literally looked to my husband and I was like, I don't like it. It looks weird. Like in my mind, it looked like it was going to look better. But when I like actually seen it put together, I was like, no, like that's not for me. Like I don't like it. And I was like, God just know. He knows you better than you know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, yeah, I think once you just let go of like what you think you want, because oftentimes I feel like you think you might want something and
Mm-hmm.
you're holding on and
Or
you're holding
someone.
on. Yes. And you're holding on and you're holding on. And then once God reveals to you what he knows, like the depths of your heart, what he knows that you need and want, then you're like, wait a minute, maybe I didn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, yeah, the house. I literally had written down like all these things, like all these features, like I wanted it to look a specific way, like, and it took me a long time, months, I'm talking about months, for me to finally surrender that to God and say, you know what, you know best, you know what we can afford because you're in the future,
Yeah.
you're in our finances more than we are, you know more than I, fine, like have it. And once and I'm sure it was frustrating for him because he was already surrendered. And we couldn't like really move forward until I truly surrendered. And once I did that, everything just got so much more
Mm-hmm.
easier. Like he gave us the house that we wanted, um, like or needed, and then ended up like falling in love with it. And at first I thought I was settling because it was the better deal. And I was like, yeah, like it's the better deal. Like it makes sense. Like, you know what, at this point I don't care. Like as long as like as long as we can afford it, as long as like if this is what God is saying that this is for us, then like it's fine. Like I'll just deal with it. And dealing with it turned into like, oh my goodness, I love this house. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm you can call me biased, but I'm like literally like our house is the most beautiful one of like the whole neighborhood. Like I love our house. Um, and it's just because God knows like what you need, and He knows the depths of your heart and what you're truly looking for, and He knows what you're gonna like, what you're gonna dislike. But yeah, He's coming time and time again. And even with the house, like when He told us that we were gonna buy a house, it was the worst time to buy a house.
Hmm.
The economy, like the house market was
Everybody
terrible.
was saying just wait a little longer,
Yeah,
like the market's gonna crash, everything's gonna go down eventually. But right now, rates are so high. You'll never be able to find anything you can afford. I mean, that's still going on today. TikTok is like, yes, rates have been cut a little bit over the past couple years from where they were, but even then, like, people are still saying like, just keep waiting. The market economy's gonna crash. Like, it goes up and down, and if you fix your mind on what the world is saying about your circumstances or what other people are saying about your circumstances, and you don't trust God, then you're gonna be flip flopping the same way that other people do, the same way that society does. And I will say with that, like, yes, surrendering can be hard. It is. We literally just had this conversation yesterday that I'm struggling with surrendering in our current situation, but I think when I look back at that journey that we made to getting here, and even from the car, the more time that you spend with God, the easier it is to surrender things to Him and just say, like, I'll trust you, I'll let you have it. When you're constantly putting yourself in His presence, when you're constantly reading the stories about the Bible and how He showed up for these different people, it makes it a lot easier to say, oh, well, if you could allow this group of slaves or freed slaves to cross the Red Sea and part the Red Sea, you can help me pay my car note this month, even though it
yeah,
don't look like I'm gonna have it. Like, even if you did all of these miracles and sent all of these plagues and did all these different things, if you could rise on the third day, like, you can
literally.
help me find a new job.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
literally.
all of your problems become a lot smaller when you're regularly looking at these different things. If you truly believe in your heart that the person that you serve and the things that you believe did happen, then when you're regularly in that mindset of I serve an amazing God who created all of the things around me, him tweaking a little circumstance for you is going to be so little, and it's
Right.
easier to surrender it versus if you're just hearing about him on Sunday and it's this distant person,
Yeah,
or it's like watching a movie. Like, yeah, it happened in the movies, but it's not in my
for
regular
me.
life.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot harder to just say, God, I trust what you say that I should leave this person, or I trust what you say, like, this isn't the job for me, that you have more for me, or if you want me to do a career change, like, that's a really big thing to do. People spend
Yeah.
years and hundreds of thousands of dollars getting degrees for things, and then you want me to go do what?
Literally me.
You want me to do what? But if you're
Literally me.
in connection, in relationship with him, and you hear that, it makes it not easy. I would never say that it's easy.
Never.
And even when I was in and I did a little Bible study today, this morning actually, I was talking to God, like, God, like, our circumstances are hard. Like, eh, yes, we're where you told us to go, and we're succeeding. We're doing the things that you told us to do. Like, we're progressing. But I was like, life was a little bit easier when we were back in Phoenix. Like,
Yeah.
our yes, we didn't have a mortgage, but that rent was cheaper and things were a little bit easier. But it took me to Psalms 10, I believe, and David was saying the same stuff that I was saying. Like, everybody around me, everybody who does evil, everybody who doesn't believe in you, they are living successful lives. They got the horses with the gold on the side. They got these big kingdoms. And the people who serve you, like,
Hmm.
we're poor, we're struggling. And he did go a little left where David was like, "Look, break the arms of the people who don't serve you," and he was saying, like, basically cursing the evildoers. But in the end, he realized, like, yes, we may be poor, yes, we may be doing things, like, yes, our life doesn't look like the way that their lives look, but in eternity, what is the difference going to look like? Where the majority of our lives are going to be spent, and as Christians, we believe our life is a lot longer on the other side of this thing
Right. This
than
is
it
a
is here.
season.
It's just a
This life
season,
is a
and
season.
that it brought me back to my stance of when we were moving us. Like, yes, things may look rough or things may be a little harder, but one, God never said that following Him was going to be easy. Picking up your cross isn't an easy thing.
It wasn't
Dying on the
easy.
cross is not an
What
easy
isn't
thing. I'm
easy
sure
for
there's a lot of
Jesus?
things Jesus wish I'm sure he would have wished he could have stayed around, being chased by the
He
Pharisees.
asked.
He asked.
He
I'm sure he
asked.
would have wished, let
Jesus
me keep doing
asked
these
God,
miracles. Let me keep
there is
healing people. Let
another
me keep
way.
feeling. Yeah.
Please, like, If there is another way, he pleaded with God, God, if there is another way to do this, reveal it to me.
Mm.
Show it to me.
But that surrender is, but if not, your will be
Your will
done.
be
And
done.
we have to have that mindset that even if I have to struggle, it's better to struggle with God and struggle in God's plan than to be peaceful in where the enemy wants me.
And something, when you were speaking, something that came to mind was that video you sent me about the guy and the old woman, the one that was sick. I don't know if you remember. And
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and
That's
he
a movie.
literally, oh, I've never,
What's the name of the movie? Uh, I can't think of the movie, but I can
it
describe
was
that scene.
literally like, it's like, it was just
I
so,
think it's one of the God's Not Dead movies, but basically in the scene, there is this hotshot lawyer. He's a really famous guy. He's wealthy. He is like, um, I'm pretty sure this guy's not dead. It's one of those, it's under that branch of people, but he's this super fancy lawyer or professor or something, and he's done really, really good for his life. And he's talking to his grandmother who has dementia, and she never speaks. She can't say anything. And he's basically doing a monologue to her because she's getting ready to pass. She's on like her last kind of dying breath. She hasn't spoken in years or months at this point. And he's like, you believed in God your whole life, and look where it's gotten you. Like, you are frozen, you have dementia. Meanwhile, me, my life is great. I am able to do, like, I have money, I have cars, I have fame, I have all these different things. And it was like, was it worth it? And he's talking to her, not expecting that she's going to talk back, expecting there's nobody home. And she snaps out of it for a second and she says, sometimes the devil makes your jail cells seem like paradise, and you get to live this fancy life, and you have no troubles and you have no worries, and you're just living in it, and you get so cozy in the jail cell until one day that door slams closed and you can't get out anymore and you're stuck. And he was like, so, like, yes, you may be living that life, you may be having all of this enjoyment, but you're secretly in the prison of the enemy, and
yeah,
you don't realize it until your
its
time
time is
passes or
up.
that clock closes or you getting that. And I think he ended up maybe getting in a car accident later in the movie or something, but then
But
it
something
was
that
almost
she
like it's too
said,
late.
yeah, something else that she said that was so profound that like stuck with me is like, sometimes the enemy will allow you to live this lavish, comfortable life because he doesn't want you turning to God. That was so profound because it is for many, um, it is the valleys of where they can see God the most. That is when God is the closest,
Hmm.
is in the valleys. People don't think so, but that is when God is the closest. Sometimes that is when God is carrying us through like the hard times, it's through the valleys. When we can't walk ourselves out of the valley, he carries us out. And so that just was just so profound because like oftentimes, like you said, like what David was saying, like all these people that don't know you that are doing evil in the world, they're living these like lavish, comfortable lives. But oftentimes it's because the enemy doesn't want to disturb them because he wants them
Hmm.
to keep thinking that they're winning in life.
Hmm.
And the reason why, and if he were to disturb them, he doesn't want them to turn to God and to turn and to look for God. So he'll just let them live comfortably. um and that's the thing, like the life, like we were saying, it's a season. Like this life on earth is a season, eternal is with God. And so like the things that you think you lack are just oftentimes like it can just be material. And it's, you have to plan for the future of eternity with God, and a future of wanting to spend in heaven with God, because that's what truly matters, is serving God and being in eternity with him and not being stuck in a place where there is no God. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, I feel like in hearing that, some people may think like, oh, like life here is so good, or like things I have going are so good. Like, I don't think, and I feel like, I don't know if it was in one of the books I read. I feel like maybe Mere Christianity may have talked about it. Amazing book by C.S. Lewis that highly recommend for anybody, even if you're Agnostic Atheist is an amazing book, but I think they're talked about people who kind of doubted that the whole purpose that we were here were just to serve, like the whole purpose that we were created was to serve this God or to serve this big person in the sky. But I think that we have the mindset, or at least I have the mindset, but I think most Christians have the mindset of what's there's nothing better than you can do than to be in line with the creator of the universe. If you believe that someone established everything and that they made you, they had a design for you, they had a plan for you, they had a plan for everything from the moment that the earth was formed, what better thing could you do than to be in relationship and to be in connection with that person and what in the route that they want you to take, even if it looks hard, even if it looks like not having all this money and the things that the world says you need in order to be happy. What if you followed that person's lead? If there's two paths laid out in front of you, one looks rocky, but you know the person that made that path, and the
Mm-hmm.
other one looks gold, but you have no idea where it leads. All
Mm-hmm.
you see is the flashy lights, the flashy cars, the watch, the house, the car, all these different things. And yeah, it looks like a fun road, but who made that road? What were their
Mm-hmm.
intentions when they made that road? When we follow God, like, yes, it looks a little rocky. Yes, we have to make some sacrifices. Yes, we have to do things that like we don't always agree with, and I think or our flesh doesn't always agree with. Inside, I think we know, and we come to terms that like, yes, although this is a little hard, but we know like at the end of the day, there's a peace about it when you're following God and when you're trusting in Him. And I think one that is a good reflection that I think is mentioned in a different book that I read, and I think it was Disciples of a Godly Man. Is that he challenged people who don't go to church but believe that they are Christian or believe in God. And they said that a good challenge of your faith is that when is the last time that you felt that God told you to do something that you didn't immediately agree with?
Mm.
And if everything you feel like you're hearing from God, you immediately like, yes, like that's easy, I'll do that. That's probably more so you speaking than God speaking.
That's so good. I feel like
But
that's a good way to distinguish.
like if every time you go in prayer or every time you hear something you feel like yes that's so easy, like yes I agree with that,
I don't
it's
think I've
probably you
ever
speaking.
said
I don't
that.
think I've ever been just sitting in church or felt like I got divine revelation and then it's always been like, oh yeah God I agree with that. Or sometimes there's been some stuff like, God, this is hard, I need you to work on my heart, work
There's
on
been
my
times where
mind.
I've said no.
Yeah,
Like at first,
if everything is just
I was
yes yes
like,
yes and
God,
God
I'm
is just.
sorry, but I don't think I can do that.
Or I think he also said, like, when is the last time, like, you asked God for something and the answer was no?
Yeah.
Like, when is the last time you were like, God, am I good to go buy this car? And if the answer is never no, then I don't think, I highly doubt that God is just the God of yeses. Like, there's been a lot of
Absolutely
times
not.
where we prayed for something and the answer was no.
Yeah.
So I think that is a good measure of like, am I truly connected or I've gotten so used to my own voice.
Yeah.
But surrender is listening to that voice, no matter how small it may be,
Or how
and
hard.
or how hard it may be to hear, and saying like, okay, I know everything in my body is saying like, I don't want to do this, I don't know, but I need to, and just
Yeah.
surrendering that.
And the thing is that like God only wants, like, He's only ever good. He only ever wants what's best for you. And if He's telling you that you need to remove yourself from a situation, if you need to stop doing something, if you need to cut someone off, it's for a reason.
Hmm.
He is protecting you. And oftentimes it's our flesh, it's the uncomfortableness that our flesh experiences that is like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to do this. But it's not until you surrender and step into the uncomfortability that you're going to be able to grow, that you're going to be able to step into the next season of your life. Because until you do, until you're obedient to God on what He's asking you to do, and I say asking because God will never make you do something.
Hmm.
He's a gentleman. Like he is a guide. He's just like, well, like maybe you shouldn't be having sex with this person, or maybe you need to stop sleeping around, or maybe you need to like let go of this job because your heart isn't in the right place, or maybe you need to stop drinking. Like he'll tell you like what is good for you, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's up to you to decide if you're gonna listen or you're not. And just know that if you don't, like there's consequences that come with that. And if you do, there's also consequences that come with that. But it can lead you to breakthrough, it can lead you to healing, it can lead you to blessings, it can lead you to so many other things that will grow you and bring you into the next season of your life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think just going forward, like looking, like really look at your life, and it's kind of what we had to do, or at least I had to do last night. Say like, God, what areas am I holding on to too tightly that I need to just surrender to you? And there's in different seasons, it'll be different things. If you're a parent, it could be your kids. Like maybe you really, really want your kids to act a certain way or look a certain way, but like it is just not going your way, and you're constantly fighting this battle in your mind. Like, God, this isn't going my way. Like, maybe surrender it to God. Maybe stop trying to do it your way. Stop trying to parent your way, and look to God to say, like, God, how can I, one, is this a part of my child that you're trying to help me steward something in? Maybe I don't need to try to remove this. Maybe I need to shift the focus. Maybe if they're a really strong willed child, like our little one up there, like maybe I don't need to try to remove her boldness. Maybe I need to shift it and focus it on things of
Direct
the
it.
kingdom, direct it
Yeah.
towards something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yes, our child is very, very
She
strong willed, but if
is.
you give her a task, like she is on it, she will do it. She will say you're welcome when she's done doing it. She is like she has a big character, and when we know that God put it in there her for a
For a
reason, so we don't try to
reason.
strip that character away from her. We're just trying to nurture it and to show her how to channel it for good.
Yeah.
So I think that there are things that like you have to look and say, God, like what am I trying to force? What am I trying to control that I need to give to you? And take some time and listen. He may give it to you right then. He may give it to you in a dream. You may be driving down the street and see like new or applications open for some company, and it just sticks with you. Like you got to be willing to listen and not just ask or pray and then think that you won't get a response, because you will. And just open your heart. Say, God, like I know that there's things that I may not even know of. You may think that everything's going great, and just say, God, I just want to do a check in. Like, where am I? Is there anything I need to work on? Is there anything that you think that I'm holding on to?
Be
Like,
prepared
it
because
may
he
not
will
be an
respond.
obvious thing, and you may need to
Yeah.
just sit and do a self reflection of like, yeah, I have been doing pretty good, but I've been working extra time at work trying to get this promotion, and maybe you don't want me promoted. Maybe there's things that you're trying to teach me in here, or maybe I've gotten too comfortable where I am, and maybe you need me to get promoted because there's more that you're trying to grow in me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm afraid of that promotion, but maybe you need me to grow as a person, and you need me to grow as a leader for things that I'm going to do later. Maybe
Yeah.
this job isn't the end all be all, and sheesh.
He's ministering to
I
himself. Give
am.
him a
Oh
second.
man.
Give him a second.
Sheesh. You know what's funny is that
I love it when that
I had a
happens.
person in mind that I was like, this probably for them. And then the more I talked, I was like, sheesh, this is definitely for me. From Woo! Okay. Maybe God is trying to grow you and giving you more tasks or more things, more responsibility, not for this job, not for this person, not for this
But
role,
your overall
not for your company, but
purpose.
for your overall growth and who he needs you to be for the seasons to come. I got it. I get it. Cause sometimes, like, yeah, that promotion sounds good, or yeah, that role sounds good, but I know it's gonna be more responsibility. But God needs you to. He doesn't need you to always be stagnant. Sometimes He needs you to move out of your comfort zone, which I've done many of times. So you would think I would be used to by now, but yeah, I get it. There's a reason behind the
That's
madness, and there's a reason for
yeah. And
everything. Sheesh.
that was an amazing moment. I'm glad you got clarity, baby.
Wasn't even asking for it, but thanks, God. Thank you.
He
Thank
was
you for.
really going in.
I was really, yeah. I'm like spilling. And I'm like, wait. The light bulb moment happened, and sorry.
That was Holy Spirit. That was Holy Spirit. But it's just like yeah, it's not easy. Surrender is never easy, but once you do, it's just a beautiful thing. It truly is. You can see yourself truly growing when you surrender to God. And I like I've seen it in me too, like just with this whole school stuff, like something that I was telling Cortez, because I was kind of disappointed when he didn't do SOP too. I'm like, I kind of was a little pushy at first. I'm like, are you sure? Like, are you
Hmm.
sure you don't want to do it? Like, they give discounts because they give discounts to like married couples. Um, and so I'm like, are you sure you don't want to do it? Are you sure? And he's like, I just don't feel like that I'm called. Like, I don't feel that this is my season in this. And I felt the calling, but I'm like, I was so confused because I was like, why? Like, isn't he like called? And I was like, I was just like, but why not? Because I can definitely see us doing like like this, like ministry together. And so I'm like he could really use it. And so I'm like, well, ask God. And he's like, I did. And God said, this is not me. Well, ask him again. Like, and he just was like, no, like, I'm not. I'm like, okay. And I kind of just let it go. And it wasn't until like I started to truly deep dive into it that I started to realize that, okay, now I know like why God has us in separate seasons at this time. And it's because like I was like hiding behind him a lot when it came to ministry. I relied on him too much and I wasn't allowing God to work in me and like allowing God to reveal what he can do through me. And so like that made me realize like okay, I get it now. Like it's he wants to work in me. He wants to uplift me in a way that would have not been done if Cortez would have done it because I would have not allowed him to. Like I would have just like when like we were prophesying in SOP one, I'm like, like why don't you tell them like
Tell him I
tell
said
them
that.
I
Tell
said
him God
this.
said this for
Yeah.
me.
Like I never wanted to do it. I was just so afraid to fail and to fail God that like I never wanted to put myself in a position where I like had the opportunity to fail. But the thing is that you have like you're gonna fail. We're human, and you have to fail in order to get better and in order to allow God to coach you through things. So you can't always win at everything. And I think that's like truly like what God was revealing to me. And like it's just you have to surrender in order to truly reap the benefits of what God is trying to do through you. And that's in any career, like any career, any job, any season of your life, and any part of your life, in your finances, in your parenting, in your like homemaking life, like literally in anything. Anything and every part of your life requires surrender. Even in taking care of yourself, like in your health and your body, like requires surrender because you can't do truly you can't do anything without God.
Yeah, and the two things that stood out to me was one, when you were talking about failing, like, yes, you will fail. I mean, and I want people to think, I feel like there's somebody out there that may have failed or may be failing. Just because you failed doesn't mean God can't still use you. Like, just
Hmm.
because you may have missed an opportunity
Or
doesn't mean
miss the
there's, or
mark.
missed the mark. Doesn't mean that there aren't still chances for retribution. I mean, Moses killed some. I don't know why I keep going to Moses, but check out Exodus for somebody that, if me mentioning Moses and the Red Sea and all of that is resonating with you, like he killed somebody, went and lived a whole life as a shepherd for
For
40 years,
40
and
years.
then went back and freed everybody. So and then still didn't make it. I don't want to give no spoilers, but I mean it's
No,
not
I
really a
mean
spoiler. But
like
like Moses failed a couple of times, and God was still able to use him. He still was able to be a man after God, and was still able to do amazing, incredible things for his people. So just because you fail or have missed the mark doesn't mean just give up and don't try again because there is so much. David made mistakes. David killed somebody too. Like, yes, Goliath, but he also killed somebody's husband. So people make mistakes, but you have to continue to seek God, and He will redeem you, and He will still
And it
use you.
might be like, it might look like, it might look like your situation, you can't go based on what the situation looks like, because it might look like not good. If you look at the situation, if you look at the problem, it looks bad. Like if you're thinking logically, it looks bad. Might look like you might be homeless in a few months, or it might look like you're not gonna have a car. It might look like um, your health, is on the line, and you might not have long. You cannot always go based on what it looks like. You got to go based on what God says, because what He says is that's the final say. What God said is the final say. And then I go back to Moses, and I think about when they got to the sea, like after he freed everybody and they got to the Red Sea, it looked bad because you got people chasing you. You got the Egyptians coming after you, and you're stuck. There's a sea in front of you. How are you going to cross? You don't have no boats. You have hundreds of people with you. It looks bad. It looks like we're about to get arrested and taken back to
And
Egypt.
that's exactly
And
what they said.
there was
You should have
probably
just left us die where we was. Now
you
you brought us out to the river. We all just gonna drown.
and there is probably people that was like, you know what? It was his idea.
Yep.
I'm
Not probably. It
take
definitely
me
was people.
take me back with you. I don't know, like I don't know how I got here. It was his idea. Like I'm willing, like put the handcuffs on my hands and take me back with you. But then God parted the sea. Then the miracle happened, and everybody got through safely.
Don't be the person that sees the sea, thinks God isn't big enough, and starts heading back to
And
captivity.
then you miss your
Don't, because
miracle.
there is so many of those people
You miss your
in
blessing.
throughout just that journey of Exodus that they're in the wilderness. We out here starving. I'm finna go back and go get back in them handcuffs because at least back there I can eat. Not knowing that as you
Don't
walking
get
back to be a slave, God is sending manna and things down from heaven to feed people every day. But because you
don't
didn't have enough faith,
or
you or
patience.
patience, you turn back and go back to
Or we
captivity.
think of another thing that comes up is Abraham with Sarah. When they Sarah got impatient waiting for God. I'm
Hmm.
too old to have a child. I'm too old to bear a child. Why don't you go sleep with Hagar, and that will be your son. She will have your son. And they did that, and things got so messy. Things got so messy. So much confusion, so much pain, so much hurt. They put Ishmael through so much hurt because they did that. And they ended up getting casted
Mm,
away.
that's a that part. I feel like God and just whisper like, "Don't go do IVF if I didn't tell you to. You gonna have that baby naturally. That's for
Ooh.
somebody. It don't go spend all this money trying to do things your way when God says you're gonna have that baby naturally the way that you were supposed to,
He
the way I
literally,
intended."
and we stand in agreement with that for whoever that's for. We stand in agreement with you. But there's just so much like that can be like, don't allow God to guide. Don't allow your impatience or
Hmm.
your lack of faith to guide, because it's when you decide to do it your own way that it can just turn things completely upside down, and God will allow it. But it's not, it wouldn't be like it wouldn't be his perfect will. It wouldn't be what he wants for you. It wouldn't be the best for you. So don't allow the waiting to to make your move. Allow God to be the one to make your move.
Drop it on his plate and leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You can't. Oh, there was a video I reposted on my awesome young man on TikTok, and he illustrated that following God's will is, or like trusting in God is like you're holding on to a knife, and you say, God, like I want to like remove this burden from me or help me do this. And he was like, but you can't think that God is going to remove it or help you with that thing if you don't let it go. Because if you're holding on to that knife and God tries to remove it, you're going to cut yourself.
Mm.
So, in order for God to remove that thing, for Him to help you with it, you got to let it go so He can remove it without you cutting yourself.
Wow.
And he was like 16, 15 years old. And I was like, that is a great
That
illustration.
is a great
Because if you keep holding
illustration.
on to that knife and saying, God, take this away from me, take this away from me, I need this or I need that, and you're not giving Him control, when He pulls it out, you're going to get cut and you're going to bleed. So if you're going to give or trust God with something, you have to fully let it go and fully let Him do it. Like, follow His
Because
lead, allow
it
Him to.
provides guidance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just cold turkey. It provides guidance. It provides steps on
Mm-hmm.
being able to surrender, and it prepares you for what you're about to witness. That's so good.
Yeah.
That is
So
so good.
I hope you got something from this
Yeah.
episode. I definitely did. Wasn't expecting to,
And
but
y'all got to witness it
I
in real
spoke. Yeah,
time.
Holy Spirit
So
spoke to
good.
me through
Look
me.
at
So
God.
I got
I
the
love
answer I was
him.
looking for. So hopefully, for whoever this is, or whoever many people this is, I hope that you got something from this. I hope that in your private time with God, you can get into prayer and find that thing that He's telling you you need to surrender to Him and trust Him in. And then I hope that once He gives you that thing, or once He speaks to you about that thing, that person, that job, that decision that
The
you've been
baby.
waiting to make, the baby, I hope that you trust Him and you move on it. That you don't
Mm-hmm.
stay stagnant, that you take the action, because I feel like He won't give you all of the steps. He'll just give you one thing. And no matter what, how crazy it sounds or how little it is, trust Him and take that first step.
And understand that being still is an action.
It is.
If he tells you to be
That's a hard
still,
action too.
be still. That
Yeah.
is an action. I don't know why I felt led to say that.
Yeah.
Being still is an action.
It's hard.
It
I
is.
definitely have my Be Still season. If you picked up the book, you'll see how hard that was for me when I feel like everything is moving and oof. But yes, there's a time to move and a time to be still. And if you're moving when He's telling you to be still, you're gonna be tired when it's time for you to move. And that was the lesson I had to learn. So trust Him, and yeah, thanks for joining us
Yes,
for
thank
another episode of
you.
Conversations with Christ.
Praying that you all have a fantastic week, and just know and we'll continue to stress that if you need prayer for anything, if
Yes.
you need us to stand in agreement for anything, if you need prayer over anything, whatever it is, feel free to reach out to us in our email at conversationswchrist@gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to do so. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.